Good evening, this lively group and very engaging group. We're going to call this meeting back to order. Thank you. Mr. Matsuoka, the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hay interpretación al español disponible si alguien lo desea. Gracias.
Headsets are for the hearing impaired or available. Please indicate if you should need a headset. And now I'll have an announcement from our closed session. Are we good? Okay, so now I'll do an announcement from the closed session. The board voted in closed session to approve interdistrict transfer appeal, case number 201920-T5. The motion was made by Ms. Ford, seconded by Ms. Kapp, and the vote was unanimous. Our unanimous vote will be 4-0 as Dr. Reed is ill tonight. The board also approved in closed session the interdistrict transfer appeal, case number 201920-T6. Motion by Ms. Capps, second by Ms. Ford. The vote was unanimous. The board voted to approve interdistrict transfer appeal, case number 201920-T7 with conditions discussed. The motion was made by Ms. Capps, seconded by Ms. Ford. The vote was unanimous. The board approved interdistrict transfer appeal, case number 201920-T8. The motion was made by Ms. Munoz, seconded by Ms. Capps. The vote was unanimous. That concludes closed session action. I have our superintendent's report.
This morning I got to welcome about 60 new staff, new teachers to our district, all eager, ready to begin their career in Santa Barbara. Dr. Becchio organized the day, and I heard it was a very successful day, and we have a brand new crop of staff ready to begin their chapter of teaching and learning with us. Let's see, we open school next week, Tuesday. I think all the parents will be glad. All right, we could send their children off to school, get back to our lives. So we are gearing up. We welcome back all of our staff tomorrow. They'll begin in professional development at their school sites. On Thursday, we gather all together to hear Dr. Pedro Noguera, and then Friday go back to site professional development days. So looking forward to the beginning of the year. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board comments or correspondence you'd like to share? Ms. Capps?
Yes, I was happy to go to an event for Mission Scholars, the group in town that we've just signed an MOU with to work with them more closely, and I couldn't be more pleased that we're working with them so closely, having heard now a presentation from an alum of theirs plus the founders. It's just such a great organization dedicated to making sure that college prep classes and tutoring can be available to anybody free of charge, and it just made me proud, especially the woman who spoke went to San Marcos, I believe, yes, and then got a full scholarship to Berkeley and is now working at Freddie Mac in Washington, D.C., and just this program changed her life, and it was very compelling. So that's it. Thanks.
Ms. Ford?
Thank you. I can only second that. I had the opportunity to attend the very same celebration. It made me really happy that we are partners with Mission Scholars. Also, I had the great opportunity to also meet with Pilar and Molly from AHA. And the work that they will be doing as our partners, especially in the area of SEL, I think is going to be amazing and possibly very significant in some changes in the way that we look at and address the needs of our students. So I was really happy about that. I'm also very grateful that we are having Pedro Noguera, and I'm very grateful that you invited us to come on Thursday. So thank you.
Ms. Munoz?
Yes, I had the pleasure during fiestas of attending the Santa Barbara Mariachi Festival and just recognized their history of giving back to the community besides being a gathering of locals and so forth. It's the 19th year that they've offered college scholarships to students both in California and throughout the country. and they had the, young people right on stage and gave 21 scholarships to youth of Santa Barbara. So it was a great pleasure to attend that and, give back in that way. And I have an appointment set up with Pilar to have coffee and learn about, her new directorship with AHA and so forth. And so, yeah, so I also look forward to hearing Dr. Noguera.
Thank you. And I'll just conclude with, I am the board liaison to the Santa Barbara Education Foundation, and I told them how pleased and how important their work is and how we appreciate, I've said that on behalf of the board, the work that they do, the fundraising that they do to make sure that our students have the extra work and time and teachers and process and programs to help them further along. And I am just proud to be a representative of that board, and they worked really hard to fundraise and really have good discussions about how's the best way to support our students, and then being an ambassador of their work, it just comes so easily because we see it as a result, the students that are coming and things that have changed their lives. We've heard through our literacy project in terms of that, how important that work is. And so I just want to publicly again share my appreciation for the work that they do supporting our students. I too also look forward to hearing Dr. Noguera and also meeting with Pilar with regards from the AHA. So thank you very much. Public comments, Ms. Capps?
Well, we have several comments related to the agenda item F17, but one that doesn't, I don't know if this is for public comment, meaning it's not for an agenda item, Mr. Luis Gomez, or if that one is for, is that for the agenda item or a general comment? Great, welcome. You have 3 minutes, sir. Great.
Traductor, okay. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Luis Gómez. Ella es Alexa Gómez, mi hija, por la cual estoy aquí. Esta es la segunda vez que estoy. La otra vez vine. Oh, pero, I'm sorry.
¿Cuál es
Great,
su nombre?
thank you.
Luis Gómez.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Luis Gomez, and this is my daughter Alexa. This is the second time that I'm here.
La otra vez creo que a lo mejor no me entendieron bien.
I'm afraid that maybe the last time you didn't understand what I was saying.
Esta vez se los traje por escrito. Es una hoja para cada uno de ustedes.
Okay, today I brought my comments in writing. I have a piece of paper for each of you.
Perdón. Ajá. Nada más quiero que ella lea la carta también.
Okay.
Para que lo entienda.
Okay, and I want you to read the letter so that I understand it. The letter is in English. Hello, good afternoon to all the members of the Santa Barbara Unified School District. The reason that I want to share the experiences that I have had in the past 2 years in the school year is because my daughter Alexa has her special program and she failed some of her classes. Because the counseling office have not been good counselors to my daughter, I'm first going to talk about her first year at Dos Pueblos High School. My daughter had emotional problems at that time. They never helped her with her problems. I tried contacting her counselor, Ms. Gomez, but she never called me back. And every time I went to the school, she was never in her office. She never really helped Alexa with her emotional problems, including the school psychiatrist. That affected my daughter. At the end, to make this short, there was some form of miscommunication between my daughter and her friend. Ms. Gomez reported to Mrs. Henderson, and she reported me to Child Protective Services. They were much quicker to report me than to help my daughter when she needed it before. Child Services found me not guilty of this situation. Now I want to talk about my daughter's second year at Dos Pueblos. She has a 504 plan in which she can get more help in her classes when her teachers never applied it to her in class. My daughter had to keep reminding her teachers that she had a 504 plan because her counselor never did his job in letting her teachers know that she had a 504 plan. He never made any annual meetings about the 504 plan she has. I have always tried to contact him, but he was busy with the seniors. My daughter needs an IQ test because her neurologist requested it. My daughter even gave the doctor's note to the nurse because her counselor wasn't there at the time. She gave the doctor's note 1 month before their summer break. There wasn't any response, so I had to go to the school to try and see what happened. The only thing that her counselor told me was that I needed to wait till she came back from her summer break in August. That's why I'm here to ask for help for my daughter because of the bad counselors that they have at Dos Pueblos High School. To her counselor, it was more important to have fun and help the seniors rather than to help my daughter. Thank you, and I hope you guys can help my daughter. Sincerely, Luis Gomez. If you wish to contact me, please call 805-696-5466. My daughter's name is Alexa Gomez.
Espero esta vez si encuentre la ayuda o si no para buscar en otro lado.
Okay.
buscar.
I hope I find help now, or if not, I would have to go somewhere else for help.
Thank you.
Pues, es nada, no hay razón para que ella esté en la escuela si no va a haber ayuda.
Yeah, there is no reason for her to be in school if she cannot be helped.
Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes public comment.
Okay. So on item D, there are none, with the exception of donation, so we'll go to the consent agenda. Are there items that the board members would like to pull from the consent agenda? Yes, okay. Okay. Are there others? Okay. So Ms. Ford, you can ask your question, or do you want us to come back to it, or it's something you can? It's not a quick one?
No, it is quick.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily a question.
Okay.
I'm related to Rosa Molina, who runs this association. So I'd like to abstain from that particular vote. So if we could just take that vote separately.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Is that it? No comments on F-17? Okay. All right, so we will. Do I have a motion to approve all items with the exception of E13, consent items on the agenda?
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a
Second.
Second. Ms. Ford? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Now we'd like to take a motion to approve item E13, Association of Two-Way and Dual Language Education Agreement for Consulting Services for 2019-2020 school year. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention.
Abstain.
All right. Motion passes. Thank you. So we will move to our action agenda with our caps on the.
Yeah, just pulling up. This one.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm just gonna pull up the first one for some reason.
Oh, and the action.
I can just,
You can read it off of this.
yes, so in the case of board action on student discipline, case number 201819-34, move to accept the recommendation for expulsion.
I second.
When does it end? Does it
That's what I
say that?
can't pull up.
Okay. Let's make sure we get all that on the record.
Here we go.
Do we want to vote?
It ends January 2020.
Second by Ms.
Oh,
Munoz.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we'll move to F2 for a good celebration. Board action for readmission of expelled student. We'll take them one at a time. And Ms. Munoz, you're going to be taking the action. Ms. Capps is going to make the motion, and
Yep.
Okay.
Great. So yes, on the first petition for re-entry from expulsion, case number 20178-48, accept the recommendation to approve the petition for re-entry from expulsion.
I second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
petition for reentry from expulsion, case number 20819-01. Accept the recommendation for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. In the case of 201819-05, accept the recommendation for petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And in the case of 201819-07, accept the recommendation for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Moving right along here. In the case of 201819-08, accept the recommendation for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And in the case of 201819-10, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And in the case of 201819-12, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And in the case of 201819-15, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And in the case of 201819-16, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And in the case of 201819-21, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And in the case of 201819-23, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor? Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And last but not least, in the case of 201819-24, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have four?
I think we have one
Or
more.
Uh-huh.
More.
4-8.
Mine's at 2-4.
Okay, so we have 4-8.
Okay, not on the summary. In the case of 201819-48, accept the petition for reentry from expulsion.
I
Let
second.
me just correction here. We're saying 19, but it says 201718-48. Ms. Wagonet, is that? Yes, on 13, it's saying 201718-48. The very last one on
I
13.
can restate. Oh,
But
What
is
about
it,
the year?
the year.
Yep.
The student has been away for a while and has returned.
so that is correct, okay. Okay,
Okay,
yeah, okay,
so that's stated as correctly.
yes.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, great, thank you. Whoo-wee.
All right.
We're going to have a better process than that. We'll figure that out. So thank you, Ms. Capps and Ms. Munoz on that. So next we'll go to item 14, approval of technology readiness initiative refresh. Mr. Rickman?
Good evening, President Simon and board members. I provided background information in the agenda item, and I'm just here to answer questions that you may have.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Ford?
No, I don't have a question. I was just wondering if you could summarize, just for anyone who's from the public is here, what we'll be voting on.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be voting on approval of a lease to buy 250 computers to provide to our certificated teaching staff to replace aging machines.
I just have one question. How often do we replace those? Is it just,
So the machines that we're replacing are going on being 5 years old at this point in time. Something that I didn't include in the item and realized afterwards is that the devices that we're going to be collecting, we can actually sell for about half of the cost we purchased them for. So we'll recoup some money.
any other questions or comments? May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Capps, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We still don't, okay, we're on 17. Okay, so item number 15, approval of provisional internship permits. Dr. Vecchio?
Thank you. Good evening, board members. In the background information I gave you, I put before you 3 teachers who are going to fill immediate staffing needs in the area of special ed. One is at Roosevelt, the other is at Goleta Valley Junior High, and the other is at Santa Barbara High School. As you know, with the provisional internship permit, we do need to file that through CTC, but they do require that the board approves our filing of that PIP. And so, happy to answer any questions. I do recommend that your approval so we can get them the internship permit and get them in the classroom.
Okay. Board, any comments or questions? Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Thank you.
Item 16, approval of resolution 2019-20-06, approving guaranteed maximum price, authorizing the contractor to proceed with construction and adopting the plans and specifications for the district office HVAC replacement project. Mr. Vizzolini is at the podium.
Good evening, Board and Superintendent Matsuoka. Finally, we have a GMP in front of us for the district office HVAC project. As you can see in the background information, we've got a little bump in price. The Division of State Architect got the better of us again. We had some issues with fire rating of the mechanical space upstairs and with some structural components with new piping and pumping systems to improve the quality of this system. So we're asking the board to increase the budget, and we're taking it from deferred maintenance. So to be clear, this is not a bond-funded project. Most of the money came from state bond matching funds from past projects many years ago. So we're just asking that we bump this up and use deferred maintenance money to fund the difference. So we're asking the board to approve the total GMP of $2.242665.
Board, any questions for Mr. Vizzolini? Ms. Capps?
Yeah, can you just give a little more history of the need for this and what the new replacement will entail?
Sure. This is the original system in the building, so 1968 or so. The equipment in the mechanical room is antiquated to the point where there's one that's sitting up there that doesn't operate at all. There are some that the controls are terrible, and if you polled the folks at the admin, I'm pretty sure most of them would tell you how poorly it works. It's a very antiquated system that mixes hot air and cold air based on your thermostat. The new one will have 2 new boilers instead of a gas-fired furnace. It will have what's called a variable air volume system, so that when certain zones throughout the building satisfy, they cut down on airflow, so you aren't going to sit there and get a cold, blast of cold air or warm air on you when the temperature reaches where it ought to be. So it should be a much more comfortable experience for everybody here. It's also going to be much more energy efficient. So we'll be using digital controls. We'll be using variable frequency drives to speed up the fans and the pumps depending on demand throughout the building. We can do things like find the hot side and have cool this side independently from over here. So there's quite a few benefits to having this done.
And is there a sense of the cost improvements because of that energy efficiency? Do you have a general sense of cost?
The savings?
Yes.
I would expect it'll be decent. As the system runs right now, we run furnaces and cooling at the same time, and the system mixes them both all throughout the building all the time. Mm-hmm. And so this will be able to shut down heating when it doesn't need it, and it won't retemper it. It will deal with humidity. It will shut off cooling when it doesn't need it in certain areas instead of just piping it in all over the place. So we're hoping we don't see the big temperature swings. I expect that there will be a good payback on this.
Is that something, though, that they present when this company is pitching?
No, they didn't
their
pitch
services?
anything. What we did is we did an RFP process.
Sure.
We have an architect that designed it. They have a professional team. We had several meetings with our staff. We also had several meetings with the contractor for pre-construction services and went over different methods, did a little bit of trimming here and there. So I think that we've dialed it in pretty well. But we did not get some type of this equipment versus that as far as payback.
Sure. And last question is this the kind of system, you said digital, where it's controlled? I just know at most offices there's the situation that utilities are left on long after people are actually using them. Is there any controls to prevent that from happening?
Absolutely. So there's scheduling, we could do things, if we, depending on how sophisticated we want to get, there's things called load shedding. So we could say there's certain places throughout the building that we don't want to cool, like the staff lounge, for instance, in high energy demand times. So, and we will also be able to track our energy usage with the main controller now. So we'll be able to interface with our electrical use and start tracking those things with our sustainability group.
Thank you. I mean, it's a big price tag, so I just hope it also means a renewed sense of how we can do things a little more efficiently. Thanks.
Any additional questions from the board? Okay. Do you hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Vizzolini. So, Ms. Capps, I think we had some on item 17, recommendation to remove Roundup Quick Pro from Santa Barbara Unified School District approved pesticide list.
Yes, we do. We have a handful of comments. So I'll call your name forward. You have 3 minutes to speak. First, let's see, Jeremiah Salazar. Welcome to the podium. Thanks.
Hello, good evening. My name is Jeremiah Salazar, and I'm with Food and Water Watch. And I just want to say thank you for being aware of what's going on with Roundup, this very bad weed killer. It has caused a lot of bad issues, health issues, and we want a good, a safe place for the kids. And I just want to say thank you for the people that it's aware of what's going on with it and how bad it's been for the humans. And I just think that, I mean, we definitely want to have a safe place for the kids and a healthy environment so they can learn. Education, it's really important that so we can improve our community, become a better human beings. And I just want to say thank you for that. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah.
Next, we have Manuel Bustamante.
Hello, my name is Manuel Bustamante. I'm with Food and Water Watch. And as I was sitting there looking at this situation here, I've been doing this for 2 years now, coming and asking people just like you to think of the children. And to be honest with you, in 2 years I haven't really been satisfied yet with how you people look at children. They're not here because they can't be here to talk. So what I'm going to do is try to explain to you a little bit what's going on. This, and what I'm going to call it poison because that's what it is. It's a poison. And we have an emergency on releasing poison out into our communities. As you can see my t-shirt, it says protect communities. That's why I'm here. And also to protect the kids that don't have a voice here. You have to start looking at this for what it is. It's causing a lot of pain in communities. Right now, Oxnard, the city of Oxnard, has the highest rate of childhood asthma in the state of California. And when I hear that, it makes me pause and figure out, wow, that's not good. I don't think anybody can think that's good. So what we got to do is come up with a way to bring that down a little bit. And the only way I can see is to remove these poisons from the school district. And it's up to you guys to do that. I can't do it. I can only come up here and ask you to do it. I have 4 grandchildren that I love a lot, just like if you have grandchildren, your children, you love a lot. You got to start thinking about them. You really do. Because what we're doing right now affects them. Oops, I'm like an Italiano, I move my hands a lot. But, yeah, you gotta start thinking about that really, really hard. Because the way it's been for the past 20, 30 years, it's not good. We just had a.
You have 30
drift.
seconds left.
Oh, my goodness. I thought I was doing good because I had 3
You're
minutes
doing well.
instead of a minute and a half. Anyways, please do your job. Please think of the children. Please do what's right. It's an emergency. We gotta address it right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Saray Madrigal, followed by Adam Vega, followed by Sergio Solis.
Good evening. My name's Saray. I'm here with Cause. I did a public comment several weeks ago about banning the use of Roundup. I appreciate you for listening to me on this important issue and quickly combating the use on Santa Barbara Unified campuses. I look forward to working more on environmental issues affecting students in the district. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Adam Vega.
Good afternoon, Board, Trustees. My name's Adam Vega, Community Organizer with Californians for Pesticide Reform. I'm also a board member on a small 5-acre community-supported agricultural farm in Camarillo. So being here and hearing the awesome steps you're taking to remove some of these harmful poisons that we don't need to use brings me a lot of joy. I did want to point out a couple things. There are still some items of concern up here. The Dryone, this pyrethrin silica gel, is some pretty nasty stuff, as well as the Adonis 75 WSP imidacloprid. These are things that we see in the agricultural fields that are causing a lot of concern. And we've helped the Oxnard School District and the Oxnard Unified High School District transition off of these chemicals to work with things that are a little bit softer. We work very closely with plant protection professionals and kind of incorporate things that we do on our farm through, the Healthy Soils Initiative and other kind of environmentally friendly ways to kind of manage pest and pathogen pressures. We help the Cause Youth in conjunction with the folks from Food and Water Watch kind of understand the environmental lens at which to look at this issue with, and we'd be more than happy to kind of continue this work with you, as well as seeing any opportunities we could help develop or improve any integrated pest management plans. Those are things that bring us great joy. We do a lot of work with regard to buffer zones in schools. So if there are any schools within the Santa Barbara Unified School District which are kind of close to fields or there is community concern, we are here as a resource to help you and support your actions to making these campuses healthy, safe learning environments. But again, a lot of these are very low risk, low use. I see a lot of them are gels, granulars, and dust, meaning they won't drift. The aerosol one is a little concerning, but again, I'd love to get in touch with you and see if we can shift to a little bit friendlier alternative. So thank you.
Thank you. And our last speaker on this agenda item is Sergio Solis.
Good afternoon, Board. Buenas tardes. My name is Sergio Solis. I'm here to thank you all for your support and time in removing glyphosate, aka Roundup, from the Santa Barbara Unified School District. If y'all didn't know, glyphosate is a known cancer-causing agent in the state of California, but it's straight out illegal or banned. As it is, I want to thank you again for taking the time and to making sure our schools are safe for not just the children, but the faculty and staff who are working on those schools. A school shouldn't be a place where children get exposed to these toxic chemicals. I'm from Oxnard. Students are exposed to everything in the air from walking to school, from home. A school shouldn't be somewhere, other places should be worried about getting possibly cancer or asthma or a skin rash. So I do want to thank you all for taking the time and effort into trying to remove glyphosate. So thank you all. Oh, I'm here on behalf of VC CAPS, which is Ventura County Coalition Advocating for Pesticide Safety, and I'm also a student member of MECHA, Movimiento Estudiantil Chicanx Aztlán. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That concludes public comment on this agenda item. Thanks all.
So, Mr. Vizzolini?
Good evening again. As you know, we are recommending the removal of this product from our approved pesticide list. We have not used it now in quite some time. I think 2015 was the last time it was actually applied in our district. I have to apologize. There are actually a couple other things on here. I was so focused on getting Roundup because it was such an attention getter. There's a few more that this gentleman talked about that we probably haven't used in quite a while either. So if the board would like, we can bring that back and we can revise this list one more time. And be happy to reach out to him if he wants to talk about it.
Any comments or questions from the board? Okay. Ms. Capps?
No, just appreciation, just also how this worked. I mean, we to have advocates come from the community and different groups, Food and Water Watch, CAUSE, the expertise that you all have, and to come and prompt us and move so quickly. So I really appreciate just all around the staff and the community coming forward and raising this issue. This is an environmental justice issue. These kids are vulnerable and exposed to sometimes the cheapest product, but that means the product that's the most harmful and causing cancer. So I'm pleased too to see the outcome of this dialogue potentially with your expertise, sir, and if we can make sure that this list is updated, that would be even better. Thank you.
Okay. No additional comments. Do I hear a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
Second.
Board, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving to item 18, recommendation for approval to increase fee for elementary and secondary paid breakfast and lunch by 25 cents. Ms. Jate.
Good evening, Board. Tonight you have in front of you a 2-year proposal to increase the paid lunches for breakfast and lunch. So these are only affecting the students who actually pay for each of the breakfast and the lunch. We're asking to raise 25 cents for breakfast and lunch in 2019-20 and then again in 2021. This will bring the payments to equal the amount we get in reimbursements from the federal government. And Nancy Weiss is here to answer any questions if I can't field them.
Okay. Ms. Katz?
Great. Thank you. I thought this would be a nice opportunity, here I am putting on the spot, to review which schools are completely free, meaning our students won't be impacted by this, and which aren't. Is that possible to do
So
that?
our Provision 2 schools
Yes.
are Franklin, Cleveland, Adams, Harding, McKinley, and La Cumbre. Santa Barbara Junior is breakfast only, or is it full Provision 2? Full Provision 2. Oh, and La Cuesta. No, Roosevelt. So it's Nancy's goal to have everyone. We would like to be a Provision 2 district, district-wide.
And I know that requires everybody returning their form, correct?
Yes, and
I'm just prompting you
yeah,
there.
it's a lot of information that needs to be had.
Exactly. Okay. So in essence, even though no one likes a price hike, this is only impacting a fairly small portion of our schools and our students.
And it's mirroring what the federal
Of
government
course.
pays for our free and reduced.
I know this information. I just think it's important to emphasize because
Yes.
it is quite extraordinary to have these wonderful meals for free. Yeah.
It's actually a rule under the National School. You have to come up here, Nancy, if you want to talk.
Good evening. It's a rule under the National School Lunch Program called Paid Lunch Equity, and it has to do with meeting the reimbursement rate that the USDA establishes, so that there is a fighting chance to at least regain some of the money that's happening when we're feeding all these kids for free. So that's the reimbursement rate. It's $2.92 in elementary and about $3.76 for secondary.
Thank you. And what would it take for the entire district to be provisioned to?
Oh, what a great question. It would take creative initiatives like Breakfast After the Bell and other revenue streams, so that those schools that don't necessarily have a high free and reduced can be subsidized by the schools that do. And in tandem, we're also then ahead of the curve, which is food and labor, which is a big part of it, always going up incrementally. We need to stay on top of that curve, and then we would probably be able to satisfy all of our schools with free breakfast and lunch. Right now it's free breakfast, and as Meg noted, there's like 7 or 8 provision to schools. Yeah.
My last question / comment is, there's also a time factor. I'm experiencing that, the common anecdote is, I didn't have time to eat lunch, but when you are provisioned 2, there's no entry of code. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's very fast.
Yes.
And if I may, part of the reason that we had such a shortfall last year
Right.
was because those 3 high schools, at the same time, all those students in 8 minutes were expected to put their ID numbers in. So, yeah, that's just, for a lot of reasons, food equity and education should go hand in hand, I believe. So,
What do you mean 8 minutes? That's the
8 minutes is the nutrition break that they get in high school. It's
Oh,
just
gosh.
8 minutes.
Yeah.
And lunch is also, a short stint. By the time we get our kids through the lunch line, they really only have 15 minutes to eat. And depending on whether recess is before or after lunch, kids are either nourishing themselves and heading back to class ready to learn, or they're being encouraged to hurry up and go out and play. And that's where you see an enormous amount of food waste, which is a conversation for another time.
Great.
But,
Thanks a lot.
thank
Appreciate
you.
Additional comment, Ms. Munoz?
Yes, I was going to say just with my background in the healthcare field and the importance of nutrition, certainly also as a parent with high school kids who used to spend a lot more than this on lunch. I mean, I think, just having them be able to focus after lunchtime, having breakfast in the morning and then have lunch available at school is very important.
It's a game changer
Thanks
for all of us, really.
Yeah,
If we
yeah.
would nourish ourselves regularly and moderately with whole food, it'd be a game changer.
Appreciate what you do.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks.
So we need action on this item?
Yes. Do I hear a motion to approve the recommendation?
So moved.
A second?
Ms. Munoz, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tay. Thank you.
Right. Great, thanks. So we had 2 requests to speak on agenda items that were on the consent agenda that came in after we had already approved the consent agenda. So if those 2 speakers would care to speak, we'd like to hear from you. Great. So the first would be Sheridan Rosenberg, who would like to speak on items E7, 8, 9. Would you mind if we combine them? Oh, that's what I wanted. Excellent. Thank you. So you'll have 3 minutes for comments on those 3 agenda items. Thanks.
Thank you. So, thank you. I did have one question. I noticed that on the website, the district website, all of the videos are down. The YouTube channel is down. Is there a reason for that? Is that going to get restored anytime soon? Yeah, that's down. And also I noticed that because I really like being able to go to the website to get the data, I'm a numbers person, for bond I&J, and now I see that you have to request it. I mean, it was hard enough to find it. It was like a total treasure hunt. And now it's gone. And so I think it's very important for the public to have it's really burdensome to have to send someone an email and disclose who you are and ask for data when it's so much better for those of us who work, north of 80 hours in a week to be able to go onto that website and download those spreadsheets and just look at them ourselves. So I just want to let you know. Anyway, thank you. I wanted to point out that I understand that there is a need for mental health services at school, that there is a desire for that. I'm just wondering if the ratio is maybe 1 to 750 students, the number of students is somewhere between, what is our enrollment now? 11,000, 11,500. That's only around 15 full-time staff people on campus district-wide. I mean, that's just a simple calculation. And what I see is that we're funding these nonprofits, Calm and Family Services and AHA. Why don't we just hire the people we need to hire and avoid any problem that even is reminiscent of the mad mess with the presence of nonprofit people having, contact with students and teachers? I think that it's just now, if you're recruiting people from those organizations, I completely understand. But I think that it's, we're not trying to hire 1,000 people, maybe 15. So I think that that's very important, that considering you're going to spend $1 million tonight, that you should bring all those people in-house that you need. And I just think that we really want to avoid what happened with Pablo and Dan ever again. So that's all I wanted to say about that. And personally, I don't think you should give AHA another penny. I have
30
her
seconds.
book. This is adult sex coaching. This is what she's using for the teen workshops. And I actually brought it. You're welcome to take a look at it. It's probably fine for adults. It's not really a good idea for adults communicating with children this way. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. And next, I'm sorry, I apologize, I can't read your last name, but it's Barbara Bastian? Item E9.
Good evening. School Board of Education. I'm a former teacher of Santa Barbara High School District and Carpinteria High School District. And I have an investment in this community and with children. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm really appalled, and I want to share my concerns with you, my grievances, that I'm hearing and seeing things that are on Facebook, and the fact that I didn't mention, I am a part of Informed Parents of California. We've got 30,000 people on our Facebook page, and I represent them here in Santa Barbara. We just had a conference at Calvary Chapel, Santa Barbara, and had several hundred people come, and we're hoping to expand the knowledge of the materials that are being put out in our curriculums in our school districts. We know that you are all family people, that you care about your children too, as we do ours, but we do want you to be aware of the fact that we are not happy with the curriculum that is out there. And I have lots of books like this that have to do with informed parents and the new sex education materials that are in the school districts, and I have to look through them, read them, and am disgusted that these are in our schools. And to now find out that AHA has the very same thing, I'm thinking there's a root here that goes between AHA, the sex education, maybe some of the other things that are happening that are coming from outside of the schools and coming into our schools. You've got uncredentialed people teaching. Why did I have to go get my credential? Why did I have to pay yearly to be a teacher so that I could be underneath somebody's eye? So you've got these workshops and these teachings coming from outside of uncredentialed people. So those are nonprofits, and we don't like that. And I'm sure that if you thought about it a little bit more, you wouldn't either, if you started reading the materials in the books. And I intend to help you see this stuff a little bit more clearly if you haven't already. I'm not done here. This is just, I just saw something about Jennifer Freyd, and I saw her picture of her with a dildo, and I'm thinking, what the heck is somebody allowed to be on a campus with that is showing something on Facebook where our children can go and track, because that's what they do. They're very smart, and they go from one thing to another, and they see their teacher with the dildo talking about all these weird types of sex, and that doesn't
30
fit
seconds.
in. That does not fit in with the school. Our education program should be talking and teaching our children to be people that have just good ethics, and that we care about each other, and we don't involve sexual things into our curriculum. So I'm Barbara. You're going to see me more, and I'm going to bring other people. I do hope that you guys will all just consider everything that we're saying, because I know that you too are concerned about our society and what's going on in our culture.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Rickman, did you want to comment on the videos or the website?
I don't, we'll have to check on the videos.
Okay.
I can tell you that a lot of documents have been taken off the website to comply with a Disabilities Act that was passed. We have to have only PDFs that are ADA compliant. And so to avoid lawsuits, those were removed. We're working to make them ADA compliant and get them back up.
Thank you.
President Sims Moten, we have one speaker on the next item.
Okay.
We're moving on.
Oh, for the discussion. So that concludes our action items. So on the discussion item, we have public comment? Ms. Williams, on this item?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We'll take that public comment first.
Great. So John Morse. And you filled out 2 speaker forms, but I just want to make sure. Oh, maybe, okay. There's not another John Morse here. Okay.
Good evening. I'm a member of John Morse. I'm a member of the Fair Education Santa Barbara, and our purpose is to advocate for quality education on behalf of all students. I'm here tonight to talk about the Williams Act complaints which were filed, all 9 of them, the report which came back, and to provide my opposition to that report in its present form. At the outset, Fair Education filed a total of 9 Williams Act complaints. The district has represented that we filed 6. So there's 3 of them that are missing. One of them is conspicuously absent. We did file a Williams Act complaint regarding the intercom at Santa Barbara High School. And I know you're working on that, but I want to make it clear that that's not in the spreadsheet, nor in the compliance quarterly report that you're being asked to approve tonight. Now, with respect to the specifics of that, the report represents that 6 complaints were filed, 0 are unresolved, and that's totally inconsistent with the other documents that you filed. For example, there's a Williams Act complaint about the student bathrooms. I don't need to go into the details of that. Bottom line is that the spreadsheet says that these are to be resolved during the renovation in the summer of 2020. That's after 2 more school years. Regardless of the reasons, it's not a resolved complaint, period. The student lockers, it says that the missing doors have been replaced. There's nothing about the dented doors. It looked like somebody had taken a fist a bunch of them. So I don't know if that's done or not. The HVAC system, again, it's certainly not completed. It's in process. That's far from being completed. Student desks, it says repair or replace is in progress. Doesn't say which one, but school's coming up pretty soon. It seems to me it's pretty simple. If you've got desks that are warped beyond measure, that they should be replaced. Open holes in the unfinished repair work, again, it's obviously not done. So the bottom line is that the report is inaccurate to the extent it says these are unresolved complaints. As a bare minimum, it should have a number somewhere between 3 or 4 or 5. So I'm asking that the report not be accepted in its present form, that it should be sent back to provide an accurate report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That concludes comment on this agenda item.
Okay, Board, so we concluded our action agenda, and I'm assuming we don't need a break. We can just keep going. So, Mr. Vizzolini, you're up on item G1.
Good evening again. As my background information talks about, the majority of these issues have been dealt with. Contrary to some comments, a lot of this is contracted work. So the holes that haven't been filled yet, Frank Skipper is doing the heating system. So there's two of the items that we're talking about. The heating system will be completed within another month or so. All of the holes and everything were where they ran new piping throughout the building, and they had to come back and insulate, and they're doing that work. So the district can't really step in and tell Frank Skipper to do that ahead of time, or that's going to cost us money, right? That's means and methods, and we're telling them how to do their work. So we have to be careful about that. And there's just to clarify, that is being taken care of, as is the heating system. The two restrooms, that's a little bigger item. So the repairs to those, the two restrooms in question are substantial. Both restrooms have failing sewer, not just right there at the unit, in the floor, in the walls. We have lead tile and lead floor. We have non-compliant ADA restrooms that need to be dealt with, and these are both on our bond program. So both of those bathrooms, and in addition, the one down in the two in the Vada area, are being planned, and they're going to go to DSA in probably the next month or so. So we're anticipating doing all that work, remodeling those bathrooms entirely in the summer of 2020. Just to give you a measure, that we'd be spending $100,000, $200,000 to repair those two restrooms, and then we're tearing it all back out again to redo them. So, we kind of felt like it was fiscally responsible. The one with the missing toilet is one toilet out of the restroom. Everything else in the restroom works. So it's one toilet that's not available anymore. It's kind of a technical thing, but basically the toilet bolts to a wall. You've probably all seen that type. That carrier, which is the sewer piece, is actually cast in the concrete. So it's jackhammering, it's tearing it all apart to put a patch in the wall and put one toilet back. So I just wanted to clarify that. The intercom does work. We worked with Elise and with Fred Razzo, and with comments from Kelly Moore about the effectiveness of the intercom as an emergency piece. We're kind of reevaluating some of those areas. So we are still working with Elise if she's going to identify a couple areas that are challenging, and we're going to do our best to get some speakers out there so that they can be communicated to those areas. The intercoms at Dos Pueblos and Goleta Valley are under contract. As you noted in the language, we had some issues with availability of the equipment itself, so we had to push a pause for a little bit, but they're starting next week, and we anticipate that work to be completed in the next couple of months. They will work at night, so there will be no problem with instructional material, or instructional time. So that catches you up, I believe. The desks are, they're a school site issue. They're not really a facilities thing. So we worked with the school, and I haven't been in that room to see if that particular desk has been removed, but I would imagine that it probably has. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any comments or questions? Board? Ms. Board?
Thank you. This is slightly related, not exactly on this particular list, and I know that in the recent past, you and Ms. Jeté did a full inventory of the facility needs of every school, correct?
We've done
Or you're almost done.
I'm at the last one. I did Dos Pueblos yesterday and today, and I've got about one more day there. But yeah, we have a massive spreadsheet of every single space in the district.
So I think that's a fabulous first step, because I think it's very important that we monitor ourselves. And so I'm wondering if you have plans to make a report to the board about your findings.
Absolutely. We have a couple of issues to look at first. Part of the tie-in here is that, we're working with Dr. Becchio on a new custodial supervisor position. And part of the misunderstanding is, where's the custodial separate from the facilities. So that's one of the functions that we have to perform first, is let's take an honest look at all this thing and say, is this a custodial function, or is this something that the maintenance department should be doing? So we'll separate those two. We will generate work orders ourselves for all the work that should be performed by our group. We will start focusing on maintenance during scheduled maintenance, which starts next week. I think I'm going to lobby for my department, actually, and say that we need to be careful about how much work we do that's not maintenance. We're really impacted sometimes by big moves and big pet projects. And I think that it's important for people to understand that if we're going to do maintenance, that we need to focus on it. We need to say no to some of those things, unless somebody's going to fund it with a private funding source or something different. But the time is huge. So we're very aware of that. We're also very aware that paint's a huge project. We could probably paint a room every day forever and not keep up. But I'm working with Ms. Jete about trying to lower our contracted services with other things like glass and plumbing and some of those other things, and start self-performing more of that work. And the idea is to try and be able to fund permanent employees to do some of those other things, possibly get some more painters to help out with that problem.
Thank you.
Any comments, board, additional comments? I would just like to add that we recognize that this is a problem. And I know sometimes we're sitting here quiet, but we're absorbing this. Is not that we are condoning it. We recognize that it's a problem. I appreciate the work, appreciate the comments from the public with regards to what things are out there that helps us be aware of things that we're not necessarily aware of. And so I appreciate this comment, but if we could have a little bit more timely, I know you're working on that, report to the board for what's going on here in terms of this, because we get the reports probably quarterly, but perhaps with this situation, since it's so mass, can we get maybe a more timely report on what's happening?
Yeah, actually, we'll be able to include some of these items. We'll be on next board meeting I'm going to do a bond update for the board. So, some of these will be close to done by then, or at least we'll have a plan. We'll be able to tell you when they're going to DSA and when the dates are, and when they'll be under construction. So that's the plan.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? We're good. Whew. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you very
Rizzolini. Whoa, so 20 minutes to 8. Wow. So that being said, we were going to adjourn back to closed session to finish that session, and so that's what we're going to do. So we will adjourn to closed session. Thank you. Thank you all.